Hi there, I'm Eric Hollenbeck, Director of Percussion Studies at Colorado State University. I'm talking about the CBA 2022 All-State Band percussion auditions, and this is the Timpani etude. And hopefully some of this stuff will help you. This particular etude just has 2 pitches. I use the middle 2 drums on this. And this actually etude is from Musical Studies for the Intermediate Timpanist by Garwood Whaley, page 17. So in this, there are basically 2 metric modulations that you want to understand well. And I definitely would work with a metronome in this to get those associated tempo transfers really, really correct. So a couple things. You have a choice of going 60 to 72. I choose 68 for a couple reasons. One, 68, when you do the math, actually works to have round numbers rather than decimal point tempos. So when you have 68, it transfers at the end of the second line to 8th note equals 340, which the 5/16th note becomes the 8th note 5, but 340 is your 8th note at the end of line 2. And then that 340 will transfer to 85 when you get to the 3/4, 5 lines up from the bottom. So 68, 340, and 85 are what I use to kind of get things in order. And basically, I would use a metronome to kind of work through those areas. And if you use an app, Pro Metronome, that you can use a very standard app, metronome app on your phone, you can actually put it on 340, and you can kind of play along at the end of the second line all the way up into 3/4, and then stick it on 85. But 68 is also very similar to the snare drum etude, number 10, that we're also doing as the collection of mallet, snare, and timpani for this all-state band audition. So anyways, that's the tempo that I choose. You need something, as far as a mallet goes, that's relatively medium to hard articulation. I use the IP Javon Gilliam's 5s, and it's not as clear as some of the other harder mallets we have, but it offers enough clarity for the 8th notes 3 lines up from the bottom to be heard individually. But yeah, I have several rolls that go from loud to soft that I want to try and create some sustain as well, and not so much have a rhythm in those. So that's something that, too, that I think a medium to kind of hard mallet will operate well in articulated passages and well in the rolls on that. As far as dampening goes, I dampen 8th note rest on the first 2 lines, in the last 2 lines as it comes along. And then also lines 6 and 7. I dampen those quarter note rest on 6 and 7. One place I don't dampen is line 5. And that, to me, doesn't function in the duration aspect, but is operating to actually break up the meter a little bit there. So something you can do in line 5, starting on the second measure of line 5, is actually re-beam that or regroup how you count that for yourself. And I think 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1 through that second bar into the 3rd and 4th and 5th bar, rather than thinking what's there and thinking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. If you kind of make each one of those kind of a new meter, that for me helps the overall time and you're going. So collectively, you need to make sure that the dynamics are really clear. And the challenge with this one is the first 2 lines crescendos consistently all the way to the end of the second line, and just trying to make that happen. And same thing for the very last 6 bars of trying to make that a really even crescendo. Again, you have a place that is pianissimo, similar to the snare drum etude, that you need to make a difference, a concerted difference between pianissimo and piano. So you're going to start a little bit louder to allow the 6th line down, that pianissimo, to be softer at that point. And then be very careful that you get pianissimo for 3 bars on the 6th line, and then the 7th line is piano to mezzo forte to forte. And again, you're trying to make sure that those are different enough where they stand out and it's clear to that. Generally on timpani, to create a really good sound, you need to kind of lift and continue lifting from the instrument. Really kind of pushing down and driving through the head really creates much more of what we call a bow sound out of the drum rather than a true open ringing projecting sound. So lift, use your wrist. I sit when I play this one just to get my mallet angle a little more parallel to the head, but you're welcome to stand as well. But anyways, this one, just be really, really concerned about the metronome and your work with it and how it transfers through the metric modulations that we have in those two places. So again, 68, 340, and 85 are kind of the tempos that are going to work well for you, I believe, in this one. So anyways, best of luck with this.
Thanks so much for watching this Colorado All-State Prep video. If you have any questions or concerns, please visit music.colostate.edu for more information, including the opportunity to schedule an individual visit with the School of Music, Theater, and Dance. Good luck on your audition.